Happy Friday. It's time to wind down, Toni.
Happy Friday.
Happy
time
Friday.
to wind down.
Cheers.
For the last time this season.
Cheers, Bob. I see Bob in the green room. Cheers. This is a very special episode. It's our last show of the season. And then, of course, I kind of threw a little wrench in our game by coming to Napa Valley. And so I'm in California. The time zone changed, and it threw off. Be Live wouldn't let us go live because it was saying, no, it's not noon where you set this up. So if you are watching, the good news is anybody who goes to our page and is watching, they'll see us. We'll be right there. We're in the same place, just shifted a different post. So and I'll put this, if you are watching and you are waiting to come into the green room area, Ellen is one. Hello. And it was written, it said 1,500 hours because
Yes.
I scheduled it and then I came to California, and it somehow, I don't know how to shift that because it's supposed to be using my Facebook time. But welcome to Wind Down. And this episode, we're going to kind of look back over the season to talk about our favorite either memories of the show or things that we've implemented, ideas that maybe inspired something different in our business. And we have fun special guests popping in to share their thoughts, inspirations, or actions they've taken.
Absolutely. And if anybody is watching and wants to pop in, we have several people lined up, but if you want to pop in, Gina, you've put the link in the show notes or are going to.
I'm putting it in the live comments area so that you can join us. If
you want to join us.
Lisa.
Hey, Lisa. If you want to join us, just put something in the comments that you'd like to come on. And if we have time, we will definitely let you know. We'll bring you into the green room, let you hang out there for minutes. Although Gina will bring you into the green room. And then we'd love to hear your comments. So Gina, in preparation for this call, there was some cool stuff. So I do have a couple of people that sent me their comments because they couldn't be live today. So I want to share those eventually. But I did go back through the episodes. It was the first time I've gone back through all the episodes. And I actually noticed, I realized 3 really important things.
Yes, I'm curious to know what those are.
Yes. So number 1, I realized that I absolutely love doing this show. I absolutely love doing this show. I love getting to see you every week. I love getting to see our regulars every week and the comments. So I am going to miss this over the summer. Although you and I talked about the fact that we might try to do an impromptu one when you're here this summer. So that was number 1. I love doing the show. And I love you. And so thank you for being part of this and letting me be part of this. And
so fun.
It's great. I love it. Second thing I noticed.
And it's fun. I have to add on because this idea was spawned when we went to the art retreat.
Absolutely.
And you had never done a Facebook Live. So I have to commend you for not only, again, an idea can be born. And when we talk about innovative things in our business, but if we don't take action on them, ideas come and go. So we took action. We made the commitment. We thought, let's see what happens and see if it's of value to people. So I'm excited that we took action on that.
And now I was going to say I'm a pro. I don't know that I'm a pro, but now it doesn't freak me out at all. And I can even host and all of that stuff. Second thing I realized is we, the collective we, not just you and me, but everybody who's been part of the show, we have said some and talked about some really cool shit. Like there have been some great shows. I know I'm not supposed to say, but there have been some great shows. We've had some awesome conversations, and that's been awesome. And I love that. I love that. And I was just so proud of all of us as I looked back. And the third thing that I realized, which is probably the most important of the 3, is that you have really great hair. that my third realization that
and this week I'm saying I need to learn to wear wigs. I need to just cut my hair off and wear wigs.
Because it's awesome, no matter whether it's up or down or to the side or no matter where you are or whether you haven't slept for 86 hours, your hair always looks phenomenal.
3-day hair and lots of dry shampoo, girlfriend. That is what it is. Let's just be honest, okay?
Well, I've never even heard of that, so I'll have to go check that out. And
I learned about dry shampoo, the necessity on Kilimanjaro when you have no showers for a week. And you have to use dry shampoo just so that your hair doesn't look like it was painted on your head. Yeah.
Okay. So those were my 3 important realizations. Now, I know that you looked back through the episodes and you came up with some favorite moments. And what would those be?
I did. Well, it's interesting because, every one of them was so interesting because, to be honest, a lot of them, we had an idea or an article we found, but then you and I would just come at them from different angles. I tend to look at things from the marketing angle. You're looking at it from a business innovation angle. And I love the fact that what came out of each episode was so different than what we first thought we would go into the episode talking about. So I love that. And, a couple of them, like episode 2 was wine, gin, and deodorant. And, again, how we blended those 3 topics. But we talked about innovative ways. We had the wine bottle, the talking wine bottle with 19 crimes.
19 crimes,
19 crimes. We had the gin ad that, or the bottle that changed colors when it was cold enough. And then the deodorant company that had really unique marketing in their emails that they sent out. And then the other day I posted in our DIY group about a company called Uber Conferencing. Uber like the cars, but it's not connected. Uber Conferencing. And they had really cool hold music. I was on hold in a conference and I wanted it to last because it was so amazingly funny. Wow. It was actually like when people joined the conference and the music stopped, I was like, wait, everybody hang up. I want to finish hearing that hold music because it was funny. They created a funny song. So, we talked about that. And then episode 6, we talked about creating intimacy, which Lisa and Brian, I saw them in the green room here with Jim and Bob. The green room is getting crowded. We should have brought some wine and cheese in the green room for everybody. But Lisa and Brian inspired me because they create this amazing intimacy with their Facebook audience doing something unique. And I'm not going to give it away because we talked about it back in that episode, but they're here and we'll see. We'll have them chat about that. Now, but those are some of mine. How about you?
I do know that Jim, when he messaged me a few minutes ago, I think if I understood correctly, only has 15 minutes. So I wonder if we don't want to bring him in.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think is so amazing about Jim is that he tunes in from all of these places, all over the world.
Yeah, and it looks like he's at the top of the world right now. I see him; his hair is blown in the wind, and I don't even know where he is. Well, let's see. Jim Coffee is coming in right now, and right now, Jim, how are you?
Hey, hello.
Where are you in the world? This is like Dora the Explorer, or where in the world is? Well, I guess we don't want to say Matt Lauer.
So
that's not good. Where are you, Jim?
Well, I'm currently in Terra Nova National Park in Newfoundland.
Wow.
On the only 2 sunny days that they've had in June, so I believe that I brought the fine weather.
I think we did too. We did.
The black flies.
The black flies.
Yeah, so that's the downside of the nice weather in Newfoundland.
Flies come out.
But I'm here teaching a water rescue course, and I just so happen to be able to time my day to have this half-hour break so I could tune in.
Great. And
That's
so
awesome.
What are some of your fondest memories, Jim, or some messages that you took away or implemented? Anything?
Well, it's there's a wide variety of things, but what really strikes me the most, which I thought was so interesting, was that because a program like this on Facebook Live happens wherever people happen to be, anywhere in the world, that I'm pretty sure that this is like my 5th country that I've tuned in from. So I remember I was at the border of Honduras and El Salvador with a slight breakdown of my vehicle. And while the mechanic was doing his thing, I was able to tune in. So, and I always think that, you know, you never know when you know, before tuning into the show, I don't really know what I'm going to get out of it, but it's this combination of between the two of you looking at things at different angles, comments that end up coming through, and it can move off in a completely different direction from what was originally sort of in a title. So,
Right.
So you never know what you're going to pull out that's going to be valuable, but you certainly don't pull out anything valuable if you can't make it.
Absolutely.
So that's my perspective.
Well, that's great.
That's so awesome.
I think it's true. In fact, Gina was mentioning that, you know, we set out with a plan. And
wait, you're assuming we had a plan.
It doesn't actually follow the plan. Absolutely.
Right.
Which is one of the things that's so important in everything that we talk about is even when you set out with an idea, it's seeing what comes up and just kind of going with the flow, which is what we do. And you have made some great comments over the various shows, Jim, and we're always thrilled to have you with us. You bring because of what you do and because of how much you travel, I think you bring a really interesting perspective, and I knew that before the show, but we're always happy to have you on and hear your perspective on things because it's always
okay. And here's what I hope that everyone is inspired by what you just said is you don't have to have a solid plan before you go live on Facebook. Right. You want to be there to connect. And this is what, you know, Lisa and Brian, they do so well. It's like the goal is to be on these shows and connect with your audience and have conversations. Conversations are not scripted and planned. You meet with friends, you meet with people, and you have an idea of something you'd like to bring forth, but that may completely change based on the conversation. And I think in our businesses, sometimes people shy away from live video because they're afraid they don't have a plan. They don't have it scripted out. And I think Jim, that's nice to hear that it was kind of refreshing to you don't know exactly what you'll get out, but being there allows you to participate and take something away.
You know, and the other thing I just like to add in, you know, for the two of you is that, you know, I've, you know, been sort of connected to Toni for the last couple of years, and to then be able to sort of expand to be a participant rather than just having information coming one way, having that go both ways is something that I believe that you've both built, which I hope turns out to be beneficial for everybody. But it really does feel like, you know, like it's an important thing to be a part of it because you're, you know, a valued portion of that community.
Well, we're honored to have you. Awesome. Honored to have you.
Honored to have you from the Netherlands.
Thank you so much. We love you. Have fun and be safe.
Be safe. Okay, we hope that your water rescue is just a class only.
Yes.
Anyhow, we'll talk to you later on. See you later.
Bye. Okay.
He's such a cool guy. He does such cool things.
Yeah. Okay. We have Lisa and Bob waiting in the green room. Bob, are you ready to pop in? I'm clicking you in here. Bob is here. Hey, Bob.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Oh, the sound is good.
Okay. Well, you said to use one of these, so I did.
You're very obedient. You're very obedient. I like that. Well, Bob, you've been a loyal fan and participant. You always participate, which I love that about you, Bob, is you're always participating in the conversations. I'd love to hear kind of your takeaways and your nuggets of what you've implemented or been inspired to do different in your business.
Well, I like what Jim said about not knowing what you're going to get. I just put it in the calendar, and I show up, and I expect a half an hour of something very, very useful and fun. And for me, it's been excellent. I've got some couple of points to make, but I had to look at the 5 S's, and I could only remember 4 of them, so that's all I wrote down. And I came up with 3 C's. One is community, And that's what this is. This group
Yeah.
is a community.
Absolutely.
And one for me, and my main points are about confidence, overcoming fear. And by being in that community, the confidence is built. So I've got a couple of things to report.
That's
And then
awesome.
the last one is the collegial and the fun. And it's funny that Tony's last point was about your hair, because it's a fun point. And when you have fun, you release endorphins that allow people to learn. Right? And that's what I experience here, is you people open me up so that I'm able to then receive the information. Like, I'm kind of nerdy, so I got two screens running, and one of them has notes that I'm making. The other one is watching YouTube. So I'm busy typing notes all the time. Yeah, I know you would.
No,
that's great.
Bob, I have an important question, which is, which of the 4 S's did you remember, so I can tell you which one is missing?
Well, I could do them without even looking at my notes. Surprising, sustainable, and seductive are the ones I always remember. And then I saw it a little more, and I remembered strategic.
Yes, and the 5th one is simple.
Oh, well, I would never have that, because I do everything the hard way. So I've got to remember that. I've got to remember that.
Maybe that's the one that's hardest to remember for you.
Yeah.
Well, I love what you said about confidence and community and the link between the two, Bob. And I think that's so true. And as Gina was saying earlier, she gave me the confidence to do this, because I never would have thought of doing this without, having a page and a half of notes and having everything planned. But it's given me
the reality is, I didn't give you confidence, Toni. I just made you do it.
Well, that's true. and by doing it. But it's like Bob said, I think there is, and I wrote it down because I think it's so powerful, Bob, is one of the important benefits of community is confidence, that everybody in that community gains confidence. We may not gain confidence about the same things, but we gain confidence because we have this community of people supporting us. I think that's an awesome point.
Well, let me tell you what happened. In the middle of all this, I had an opportunity, Toni will know this, I think, to do a Mo Monday.
Yes.
You know what that is? Okay. Gina, that's a national franchise in Canada. And in various cities, we have the ability to go on stage and tell our story.
Oh,
and
right.
It's people right from the community. Like, it's not speakers like Toni's a speaker, right? She's on the road speaking.
She's a speaker, right.
She's a Hall of Fame, like, she's top of her game, okay? In the speaking community, we understand that and we honored it. But Mo Mondays is just about people telling their story, and it's very compelling because it's local, it's social, and it speaks to that thing about the collegial part, like people really get into it. So it's very powerful. I have volunteered at Mo Mondays for 2 years when Stephanie Staples owned it in Winnipeg. And she bugged me for 2 years to go on stage. I wouldn't do it because my product wasn't ready. And you're not supposed to do product, but that was my reason. And the reason became an excuse. And Stephanie sold it, moved to Sydney, BC, which is in British Columbia, Victoria area. And it's a couple. And he and I had lunch. And we went for a normal lunch. And he didn't bring it up. I did. Because in the absence of him bringing it up, I said, oh, by the way, Stephanie's been bugging me. And so he just listened. And I didn't go through the excuses, but I realized the silence was very compelling. And then he said, so when do you want to speak? So because of the experience here, I committed and I did it.
Awesome.
That has caused a breakthrough, and I've said in my comments about product development, that has caused a breakthrough where the product is now in the field.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's so exciting.
Okay. And
I've only got it. Just need that push.
I've got it in front of 2 coaching clients who are now going to work with it in the next month, right? They don't know it's in development. They just think that's what I do. And that's the way I want it presented. And then, of course,
we need to all give Bob hearts. Give Bob lots of hearts and clappy hands over here, because I'm very proud of you for taking that leap and pushing yourself and not letting fear get in the way of not taking the action that you need to take in your business. That's great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's really
I am still
exciting.
listening. I'm just trying to get through to Susan Luke, who thinks we're on at 3. So,
Send her to
but
Gina.
thank you for coming, Bob. We love
Bob.
you. And we
Awesome.
will see
Thank you,
over
Bob.
the summer.
So good. Yeah.
Okay. Bye. Okay. I'm bringing Lisa. Lisa, girlfriend, diva. Are you ready? Okay. And I have to say, as Lisa's coming in here, I met Lisa and Brian. Lisa and Brian are both, let's see if we can see you guys. I met Lisa and Brian strictly by happenstance because I happened to be looking at Facebook Lives, who was going live and putting on awesome shows. And one morning, it was crack of dawn. Lisa, you guys are on so early. So for me, I'm like, oh my God, 6 o'clock, they're already live somewhere. And I tuned in, and Lisa was in her bathroom getting ready. She's singing, and but she's live on Facebook. I was like, what is this? So I'm watching, and all of a sudden I am just drawn in. And she is just charismatic, and I immediately just loved her. And then she says, okay, we're going live on our other show. And, and they go live, her and Brian come on, and they're just dynamic. And so, Lisa, that's why I love what you guys do to build that intimacy in your community online. And there may be other things you want to share, but I use you guys as the example. I always tell people about your show going, this couple draws you in and makes you feel like every time I tune in, and usually I'm gardening, usually I'm watering my flowers at 6 in the morning, and I'm outside with coffee, in my pajamas, with a hose, watering my flowers, and I'm listening to Lisa and Brian, and I don't even have a spare hand because I'm holding my coffee and my water, and then they're going, hey, Gina, where are you? Are you in Arizona? I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to put something down so I can text them. Because I feel the need. I'm like, they see you, and they make you feel part of that community. I just love it. So welcome, Lisa and Brian.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome.
Hello to both of you ladies. Gina, you
Yeah.
are so perceptive. A couple of quick tips I want to say, because I want Lisa to talk. I don't participate in the morning makeup and motivation part.
Yeah, you do not. No.
She's doing makeup anyway, so she decided to share that with her, but I want her to talk about her motivations behind that. But one of the things, because of the topic, creating intimacy and persistency with your audiences, every single person that chimes in at all is important.
Yeah.
So we make sure that everyone whose name we see, we want to say hello to that person.
Absolutely.
And anyone who has anything that takes the time to write it out, unless it's something crazy, if they write it out, we're going to read it out loud.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. You guys are just hilarious because I am always I'm trying to put down a cup of coffee or a hose to just type in going amen or funny, laughing. Like you guys make me laugh every morning and I just love it. It's like, it's kind of my drive time because my drive time is from the kitchen to the garden in my pajamas and I'm listening to you guys and I love it. It does build that intimacy. I feel like, I'm missing them. Mm-hmm. So I think you guys just do an amazing job of that. Yeah, calling out people, making people feel just loved.
Absolutely. We thank you for that. And we do miss our audience when they don't come. We try to keep track of where people are. We actually oftentimes, when we're not online, we're actually checking our viewers' pages to see how they're doing, see what they're doing. We pray for you guys. We pray for them. Sometimes people post what's going on in their lives and we'll call them out in our own personal prayers as well. So we are it is community. It is community.
It is.
And we found that there are so many people that this is the only intimacy or social foray that they actually have. And while we do offline networking and hold events offline, there are some people that don't. We had one lady that came to one of our offline events that hadn't been out of her house for 7 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And she came as a result of the intimacy that we built with her over time online.
Because they feel like they get to know you.
Yeah.
They see you
often.
They get to know you. That story shook me. She hadn't left her home in 7 years.
7 years.
And she came to one of our events.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I also think that's so interesting because what you said, when you don't see people, you miss them. Well, I'll have to tell you, as a viewer in your audience, I feel that. Like if I know, I see on my phone, I'm like I was traveling here and I was just getting out of bed and I see a thing pop up going, Lisa and Brian are live, and I'm like, I feel guilty. So I like, hey, it's like, yeah, like I'm missing church. And I think what's interesting about that when you
the motherboard after you.
You know, it's such an honor. There's been 2 times since October of 2016 where we didn't do our show at all.
Mm-hmm.
Only twice.
Wow.
Between October 2016, Monday through Friday, where we didn't do our show at all. And when we didn't do our show, like 15 minutes after,
we got busted.
We're getting messages to individually, where's the show? Where's the show?
Where are you?
They come to, it's something that they can hang their hat on. This show's going to be there this time, and they know what they're going to get.
No,
consistency.
Gina asked about morning motivation and makeup, and I know a lot of people laugh and talk about like what was the impetus behind that. Well, first of all, it was a matter of giving permission to imperfection.
Yes.
That's
what
really
great.
What it was. I was hearing too many ladies saying to me, oh my God, I can never do that. Not talking about the morning show, talking about our regular show. You guys are always so put together, your message and this, We have a topic and a time, and everything else is left up to God.
That's right.
A topic and a time, and that's it. Sometimes we don't even have pants on. So it's a topic
you don't
and
need
a
to tell
time.
her that, baby. You don't need to tell her that.
I'm seeing a theme so far on the show. No pants required. Jerry, you better get on here.
So when I was getting those messages from women that I knew, because I believe that everybody has a purpose and everybody has something to add, I knew that they were keeping us being the world, from something that we needed because they thought it wasn't packaged up pretty enough to bring to the world. So I said, okay, here we go, 50-year-old morning face. You're getting ready to say hello to the world.
And they watch the transformation. She's going to be putting makeup anyway.
Right.
But now
well, and I'll tell you what, Lisa, I'm also getting makeup tips because I'm like, oh, she's using some highlighter on her eyebrows. I didn't try that.
How is she going to get that eyelash on?
Well, that was the big joke when Gina and I were at the art retreat. Was not only was there no way I was doing a Facebook Live, no way without preparation. There was no way I was doing a Facebook Live without makeup. And by the end of the 3 days, she had me in my pajamas, no makeup, no prep, no nothing, with a glass of wine in my hand. But that wasn't a stretch. The rest was a stretch.
You hit on something else too.
Just talking, and it's so freeing.
That's the other thing too. As willing as you are as hosts to be transparent, that equals their transparency.
Yes.
As willing as you are to laugh. If you're not willing to laugh, they can't laugh. It's like you give permission.
That is so true.
If you're willing to be transparent, they can be If Lisa and I fuss at each other online, which has happened once or twice.
I love that part.
I like that phrase, fuss at each other.
Yes.
They fuss at each other. I love it.
Real as husband and wife. Yeah. And it's happened a couple of times, a few times. Maybe 10 times, maybe 20, maybe 30 times.
Sometimes there have been like really serious moments.
But we worked it out, though. Every time we work it out, So.
But I think you're right. It allows participants to see that perfection isn't necessary to allow your audience in. And as a matter of fact, it actually helps your audience draw closer through that imperfection.
I think you're right. Absolutely right.
One of your viewers, Susan, says, I just got on here and I heard about pants on or off. Am I in the right place? You're in the right place, Susan.
Susan, you are definitely in the right place. No pants required. That is the name of this episode. No pants required.
No pants required. Wine maybe required.
Lisa always says every morning, Gina, I need to come on, wind down so we can have some wine. See, when you have wine, there's no pants required.
No pants
required.
That should go on a t-shirt.
Absolutely. Where's Carmelita? I made that on a t-shirt.
I always laugh because I actually did a show, a guy in a studio, it was a TV show, and he had on a suit jacket, but he had on like Bermuda shorts, like these surfer shorts on the bottom. I was like, even on TV, no pants required.
That's right.
You know what would be a really fun thing to do is to make everybody on One Wind Down guess what we have on.
Who has it? And then it's like to tell. Then it's like to tell the truth. Will the real person with no pants? And then everybody has to go like this.
We need to do it. Absolutely, we need to do it.
Who has no pants on?
He's not wearing pants, though.
Baby, you don't have to
I have pants. Okay, I have pants on.
You got pants on today.
I'm not standing up.
Tony's not telling. Bob, I don't know. Bob, I think, is the one. Bob has no pants on. He's still in the green room. And I think he doesn't have pants on.
Okay, well, guys, I have actually never had the honor of hearing your show. So I am going to, it's 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, it's 9 o'clock here.
No.
9 o'clock.
Yeah, Tony, they're on the same time zone as you. They're East Coast.
Oh, so it's 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Oh, I can do that.
Yes, you can.
I don't know if I'll have pants on, but I can do that.
9 a.m. 9 a.m. on Eastern Coast.
Yeah.
I am going to come visit, so watch out for me. I'm going to come.
Lisa, it's on Lisa's page. It's all, I catch it every morning. You know, that's the beauty. And if anybody doesn't know this, if you sign up for notifications and you subscribe to notifications, you just, in the morning, you kind of see who's going live. And you're like, oh, it's kind of like your morning drive time. It's like, I need to pop over there and catch the show. I love that. And I'm just, you guys have been a blessing in my life, and I know to many other people. So thank you for what you guys do.
You. And Toni, when you come on, say something, say anything, so we'll shout you out.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You don't have to tell her to talk.
I'm not denying her. I will talk.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you guys
for having us. Mutual
Thank you.
hearts.
Bye.
Oh, I just love them. I'm like, okay, best, like, you know how, that's what I love. And Bob, I love Bob. It's like I meet these people online. So if anybody ever says you can't build relationships through social media or through online, they don't know, they're not doing it right.
Yes,
they're not doing it right. And I think that's another lesson in our business. I think video allows us to get closer to people, to get to know them. I think doing these video shows, I've gotten to know people through their comments, and so, you know, again, even their comments. I mean, Susan, you're cracking us up. You know, you get to know people. Susan says, "Just saying." You know, it's like that allows people in, and you draw closer. And so, as a business, and again, we're doing this. This show's super casual. But is there a way in any business that you can allow people to draw closer and kind of peek behind the curtain of seriousness? Not that you have to be silly, but I think, again, be vulnerable. You don't have to be perfect. And I think letting people see the imperfection draws them closer to you.
Sorry.
No, that was period.
I think what Jim said earlier about the fact that this kind of community can help sustain relationships, sustain connections. And Jim talked about the back and forth and what he loves about this. And he specifically said, you know, there's a difference between information getting pushed to us and being able to connect and interact not only with that information, but with the person who's providing that information. And that's what's so cool about this, because most people think of social, and you obviously, being the people who handle social for my life, taught me this, and most people think of social as a one-way push. I'm going to push information out there so that people will see it, read it, like it. Well, that's great. But I want people to interact with it. I want people to engage with it. I want to start a conversation. And I think that's one of the powers of video and shows like this, is that you start conversations.
That's right. That's right. And that's how relationships are started.
Absolutely.
So I think start conversations, that leads to relationships, that leads to working together.
Yes.
And I want to say, or not, or just because develop. Well, you never know. You might have a partnership with them doing something else. I want to let Ellen know she had tried to come in. She was in the green room. She said she had echo, so she popped out. And if you put an earbud in, so it could be that the sound is coming from your speaker and then it feeds back into the microphone, so it causes echo.
Right.
if you put a headset in, usually that eliminates it, but you never know. And shout out to Vivian. I just have to see, I can't move this up to see the comments, which sometimes comments are just easy and sometimes they're not.
Who's next? Who's coming in next?
Well, Ellen was, but she had to pop out because of echo. So I don't see Susan. Susan Wine, I have. Susan, we're ready for you. If you want to come in, click on the link that is in this chat stream here. And if you need me to put that link back in, did I put it in here? Yeah, I did.
Maybe is it in those same comments that Susan is using, the link?
It should be. Yes. Yeah. It's in the same comment area. It's early on in the show, which is hard. I know when you're watching Facebook Live, it shows the comments in live. Let me just put it again. How about that? Right there. If you want to join live, if you want to pop in, pop in.
So Susan apparently has wine and no pants.
Yes, Susan has wine and no pants. This is the show for you, Susan. We're ready for you. Just click on that link, and it takes you. You won't be in Facebook. You will be in the green room, which pulls you into Be Live. So it's a different tool that we use for this, and it'll pull you in here. But I think hopefully this season has been not only fun, but hopefully it's also been helpful and inspiring you. And Ellen is here. Oh, Ellen was here, and now she's gone again. Okay, she might be having technical difficulty coming in. But which is another thing that I'm hoping that even today will allow is people who are afraid to try because of technology glitches or Toni, so I have to say you've been really good because there are days where we're going live in like 30 seconds and I'm not here. And Toni, and what's funny is a couple times I am here, but for some reason she can't see me. I can see her and I can see the panic on her face. Like, okay, where is she? Where is she? I'm like, I'm here. So, technology is not perfect. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And you have to learn how to not let that get you down.
And then there was the day you weren't there. And that was one of the episodes I went back and watched. And the first 10 minutes of that episode is painful. I am obviously out of my depth. No idea what to talk about on my own. And I was just
a personal growth day for you.
but I did it. Not pretty, but I did it. And I could do it.
I think that's another thing is like we need to not be afraid to try new things and to say, okay, if things go wrong, what do you do? And I always just say that's when you just wing it and you laugh at yourself and your audience will laugh with you. And and you need times to practice, which shows like this allow you to practice. Is come on and practice and learn that it's not so scary to turn your camera on. There's Brian Fanzo is on social media. You see him a lot. I think it's iFanzo is his handle. Yeah. His motto is just push the button. And he's always trying to encourage people to go live and do more live video in their businesses. And he says, just push the button. Too many people are afraid to go live because what if I say something stupid? Or what if it disconnects? Or like I've done before, I've been doing live and my cord wasn't plugged into my computer. And all of a sudden I'm like, 30 seconds, my battery's going to die. And so in the middle of the show, I have to go fish out my cord and plug it in and put it in my computer. But you know what? That's what happens. And you go with it.
I will put a caveat. And I know Brian. And in fact, Monday, I'm doing a video on video, which is an interesting thing. I'm going to do a video on video as a touch point. And I will tell this group right now, I am going to say it's not necessarily always okay to just press the button. I think it depends who you are. I think it depends. But seriously, I think it depends who you are. I think it depends what your brand stands for. I think it depends on the other. Because I'm seeing way too much stuff out there that shouldn't
be live. Well, that's true.
Shouldn't be live.
And I do have to say some tips. I despise people who push that live button on Facebook and then they say, So, hey, just waiting for people to tune in. And
So,
hey, let's just look at me sitting here in my bed. Going, okay,
there's all kinds of things. But yes, the first step is to get over the fear. Now, I think Susan and both Susan and Hélène are having issues getting in nudies.
What?
What? But both Susan and Hélène are having trouble getting in. I don't know if Susan and Hélène, are you both in Chrome?
You know what? That is true. If you don't,
if you are not in Chrome browser. If you're not in the Chrome browser, that could be a problem. So if either of you are in another browser beside Chrome, that could be the issue.
True. That's probably the issue.
Vivian, why are we talking about nudies?
Because I think Susan's comment, I'm enjoying the conversation. Oh, no, with wine, and we're talking about pants and everything else.
So Susan, you are in Chrome. Is that it? Yes, you are in Chrome. So if you've clicked on the latest link that Gina put in, I really don't know why
it wouldn't. Yeah, either the fact that you were in, you weren't pixelated, the Wi-Fi connection or your internet connection looked good. That was the right link. It should pull you in, although it pulls you into a green room, kind of a holding area until I move you up. So, but you still should know that you're in. The problem with me is sound. My earbud is broken. I couldn't use it on the computer. Okay. Well, and you can share anything in the chat. And Toni, you had some people who wrote in some things that you wanted to share as well.
Absolutely. Jim, one of them, who actually ended up being able to appear live. So that's really cool. Another one was Maggie Chacon from our Facebook group, who's also very well known in the speaking community. And I loved what she said, and I was just trying to find it. So give me 2 seconds. But she talked about the fact that, here we go. She talked about the fact that she always walks away with something. Let me read it to you. I really enjoy the banter and the spontaneous aha moments as you two sprint, which we always do, sprint for a half hour and a glass of wine. Always something to pique my curiosity. So after the show, and I love this, after the show, I explore an idea or two to think about on the weekend. And she finishes by saying, hanging out with other twisted folks is good for the soul. So
hanging out with other twisted folks. I love her. Yeah. That's awesome.
So that's Susan and Hélène. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. That may be as good as we can do today. So if you have some thoughts, some memories, some ideas that you'd like to share of the show, feel free to share those in the comments.
And and I'm going to share something just this week that, for those of you who don't know, I'm here in Napa Valley meeting my sister for the very first time. I'll be 55, and her and I had never met. We connected through DNA testing on Ancestry.com. I never knew who my dad was, so we kind of found each other. We've just been having a fun time the last few days. But it was interesting because something that we've been saying, kind of the theme is you have to just take action. And one thing that we did this week that was really fun is that she's lived in Napa all her life and had never been in a hot air balloon. And so we were talking about it, and I just took my phone, and Toni, you know me, I just looked up, okay, the hot air balloon company, and I was like, oh, they have openings tomorrow morning. We could get up at 4 and go. And we booked it and went. And I think, and Toni, that is one episode I think is worth, or actually, it's an episode we talked about in also one of your videos, to commit or to audition. Yes. And you and I have talked about how opposite we are. I jump in and commit before even thinking twice. And you audition things to make sure that things are just right before implementing. And we've been good for each other because
absolutely,
I know that at least I think about it as I'm jumping now. I don't think yet before I jump, so I still need to work on that. But I think in our business, whether it's doing something innovative and new in our business, or whether it's getting out there and marketing our business idea to start, we can plan and plan and plan all day long, but until we finally just get out there and take some action And then every day, you know, and I like having accountability of having other people hold me to things so that, you know, we have to find that community of people that will hold us accountable, because a lot of times if we are solopreneurs, we can come up with a very innovative idea, a brilliant way to do business. But if we don't actually do it, you know, who's going to get on our case?
Absolutely.
So you know, I think that's another important thing, that this community, in both of our Facebook groups separately, but then in this community on Wind Down, is, you know, allow us all to be your accountability buddies. If you know what, I came up with a great idea. I want to set a date to get this done and commit to it and make it happen. And you'll see amazing things happen in your business.
I think that would be a great episode, actually. Maybe our launch episode in the fall, we could ask everybody to come with something they're going to do and a date, and the group can hold them accountable.
Each other accountable.
That'd be a lot of fun. Now, Susan
because
said,
then, yeah, I love it.
Sorry, go ahead, Gina.
No, I just said that's a great idea, because then we could say, okay, if you said you were going to do this by October, okay, in October we're going to have you come on the show and share with us what you did, because then that's added accountability. Now I have to come on live and tell everybody, and then suddenly you'll get sick and you won't come on. And
Susan says, I don't know if you can bring the comment up, Gina. Susan says, love the session about transition, stories, and legacy. Definitely what I'm experiencing now. That was one of my favorite sessions, Susan, as well. Still looking for some more creative ways of dealing with those issues, but enjoying the ride in terms of trying not to force anything. Absolutely, absolutely.
That's a great, yeah. I need to go back and rewatch.
In transition right now, I think, about so many things.
Right. And it's interesting that we've all kind of felt that as there's this transition time. And I think it's that stirring that we have in us to do something bigger. And we need to take that seriously and actually put some action, put some legs in it, and say, okay, you know, we can't get great until we get started. So what will you do to get started?
Yes. Yeah. And I also think that there's something about consciously always being in transition. I think that's important, because what I realized, and we talked about a little bit in that show, was that I didn't think I was in transition anymore. I had found this was my life, this was my future. And so I was on a path and I was on a track. But as soon as I stopped and let myself let go of some of that, I realized that I was, in fact, and always need to be in some kind of transition. And that doesn't mean indecisiveness or not committing or any of those things.
Yeah.
It just means
big change.
We're not in some kind of transition. We're not growing.
That's a good point. Yeah, we're all in transition, and our business should be evolving and continuing to grow. And it could be a completely different shift, but it could just be slight little variations that we make. Alen says, the fact that that you two are inspiring. Thank you. The shows are also good to look back, to get back to the major messages. Surround yourself with people brighter than you, always, that push you. Yeah, go for the long game, nurture our inner genius. That was one of my favorite episodes too, because that was very spontaneous. And I think I came live from the hospital. That episode, and we just talked about being, you know, that genius inside. Absolutely. And always something to go away with. Thank you. That is a really nice sentiment. Yeah. That's lovely. I think that is surround yourself with smart people. You know, always, you know, which we always hear that. You know, if you hang around with people who are like you, you don't grow very much. And if you hang around people who I always call basement people in our lives want to hold us down in the basement with them. We need to surround ourselves with balcony people who are in the balcony cheering us on and pushing us. And I've always believed that. You've got to, you know, and again, sometimes we live with people who might be basement people, you know, and we have to look at that and say, okay, how am I going to intentionally surround myself with balcony people who will cheer me on and push me to be better and try new things and get out there and grow that business and grow ourselves.
And I think we always talk, and as you say, there's a lot of things out there about surrounding ourselves with smarter people who are smarter than we are about certain things. Right. And I think that's great. I think the other thing is to surround ourselves with people who tell us the truth. Yeah,
that's a good point.
Who will make those difficult comments and ask those tough questions, because even if we surround ourselves with people who are smarter than we are about certain things, if they don't have the chutzpah to challenge us, if they don't have the chutzpah to go, I'm not sure that you're on the right path and you need to think about this, then smart is only really half of the equation. The other half of the equation are the people who are prepared to push you by asking you the tough questions.
Right. Yeah. And then says that's, it's okay. It's okay not to be right all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely okay not to be right all the time.
Right. Right.
And the greatest entrepreneurs in history will tell you that they have had some absolutely spectacular failures. Times when they were wrong, so wrong about something. I mean, look at Amazon. I didn't even know this, but that Amazon launched a phone at one point. Did you even know that they launched a phone?
I did. I remember hearing, and I remember going, what are they? That's so out of their wheelhouse.
It was abysmal. It was absolutely abysmal. But it came from the same person who's come up with all of those other amazing ideas that have made him not millions but billions of dollars. So we all have spectacular failures, and we need to just go with them. Yeah.
And if you're not failing, then you're not moving forward and taking action, and you've got to just keep moving and have lots of failures. I mean, if you're not failing, you're not doing anything. So
Ronald says the Amazon phone tanked like a turkey.
Ronald, how are you? I haven't seen you in a long time. Ronald Nutter.
Had one too, but you don't hear about that one anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the Facebook phone either.
It is interesting. You look at all the failures that have been out there. Yeah. Well, Toni, somehow we made an hour go by like that again.
We did. We started a little late, but we did make an hour go by. And so just before we go, what are your plans for the summer, Gina? And what do you do with the summer months? Do you take time to think, to recharge? No. Okay.
No, I work all summer. But look, I'm here for a few days in Napa. I work, but I bring balance, and I love summer because I get to start my day outside. So I do try to do that. No, and I throughout the year I make time to try to just get that quiet time, headspace, and plan and be innovative. What will you? Because I have some big things going on this summer with our youngest daughter getting married. We're coming out to see you in a couple weeks. As there's a big birthday celebration happening.
It's a scary one. It's a scary one, but I'm okay. I wake up with heart palpitations every now and then, and then I go.
I was going to say, it starts with an S, but it could be 16.
Could be 16.
Your sweet 16 birthday.
It could be 16. But as always, we are going to take the summer off. And this has been a value of mine ever since the kids were young. PG, meaning pre-Jer. And it started when I was a single mom with two very young kids, and they were off. So I wanted to make sure that I was off and spending time with them. And it has just continued for us. It is the time when we focus on friends and family and making memories. It doesn't hurt that in our line of work, it's not very busy during the summer. And, if something big comes in, we might take it, but we turn down a fair amount of work that comes in during the summer just because we really want to prioritize family and friends. And by doing that, we also give ourselves time and space for our creative neurons to re-energize. That's what people pay us for. If ours are exhausted, that's not good for anybody.
That's a good point.
Yes. So there's a lot of dock time. There's a lot of dock tales. There's a lot of doffy, which is coffee on the dock. And there's a lot of sitting on the dock of the bay, which you
on the dock of the bay
have done with us, and we'll be doing again very shortly.
And I'm looking forward to it. And I hope everyone has, whether it's productive or whether it's relaxing or hopefully a little of both. Hopefully everyone has a wonderful summer season as we take a little break from the show, but this has just been a joy to do. I've loved getting to know every single one of you in here, in this community, and getting to make new friends. And what is the old Girl Scout song? Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold. I think I got kicked out of Girl Scouts.
Just before we go, because Ronald made a comment and I want to make sure that we get there. Getting ready to release my next book on DIY smart home automation in a few days. So congratulations, Ronald.
Congratulations, Ronald.
Launch, and you can tell us all about it in the fall. So thank you.
Exciting.
We love you. We really do. We really do love being here and love that you're here with us, and that everybody's so open to share things, and that we all get to have a great time together and raise a glass. So happy summer, everybody.
So raising a glass to all of you.
We will see you very soon, which is so cool. And everybody else, we will be in touch, and we will see you in September. Bye.